Good evening, and tonight, you are not a king, a knight, or a wealthy merchant. Instead, you are one of the hundreds of invisible people who keep a medieval castle alive. Your name is Thomas, and you serve in a great stone castle somewhere in England during the late 1300s. The castle stands atop a rocky hill, surrounded by forests, farms, and small villages. Thick walls protect the lord and his family from enemies, but for servants like you, those same walls create a world of endless work. The day begins long before sunrise. A distant bell echoes through the darkness. You slowly open your eyes. The room is cold. Very cold. You sleep on a simple straw mattress in a chamber shared with other servants. The air smells faintly of smoke, damp stone, and wool blankets. Beside you, dozens of servants begin stirring. Nobody speaks much. Everyone knows what must be done. You sit up and pull on your rough wool tunic. The stone floor feels freezing beneath your feet. Outside the tiny window, the sky remains black. The stars still shine. A servant's day starts before almost everyone else in the castle. You grab a small lantern and head into the corridor. The hallway is quiet except for distant footsteps. Somewhere below, kitchen workers are already awake. The castle itself seems asleep. But beneath its calm appearance, an army of servants is beginning another busy day. You descend a winding staircase. The stone steps have been worn smooth by generations of feet. Your lantern flickers against ancient walls. At the bottom of the stairs, the great kitchen awaits. The kitchen is one of the busiest places in the entire castle. Even before dawn, fires must be lit. Without fire, there can be no breakfast. No warmth. No fresh bread. No hot water. You join several other servants gathering firewood. The woodpile sits beneath a covered shelter in the courtyard. Morning frost covers everything. Your breath hangs in the air like smoke. The sky slowly begins turning dark blue. Birds start singing in distant trees. One servant carries logs. Another carries kindling. Soon the great fireplace crackles to life. Orange flames dance across blackened stones. The kitchen gradually fills with warmth. Cooks arrive next. They begin kneading dough, preparing porridge, sharpening knives, checking supplies. The smell of baking bread slowly spreads through the castle. For many nobles, breakfast simply appears on the table. But you know the truth. Hundreds of small tasks happen before that meal arrives. And every one of those tasks depends upon servants. You fetch water from the castle well. The bucket feels heavy. Water is needed for cooking, cleaning, washing, nearly everything. The castle consumes enormous amounts of water every day. As dawn finally arrives, sunlight touches the highest towers. Golden light spreads across stone walls. The castle awakens. Guards change shifts. Stable workers feed horses. Messengers arrive. The Lord's household prepares for another day. And your work has only just begun. For a medieval servant, sunrise does not mark the start of labor. It marks the moment when labor becomes even busier. The castle now depends on you. And there will be very little rest until nightfall. By mid-morning, the kitchen is alive with activity. Huge iron pots hang above roaring fires. Cooks move quickly between tables. Servants carry baskets filled with vegetables. The room echoes with chopping, stirring, and the crackling of flames. You have worked in this kitchen for nearly 3 years. That makes you experienced. Not important. Not powerful. But experienced. You know where every tool belongs. You know how much wood each fire requires. You know which cook becomes angry when meals are delayed. The kitchen feeds an entire castle. This includes the Lord's family. Knights. Guests. Guards. Craftsmen. Servants. Sometimes more than 200 people. Producing that much food is a constant challenge. Barrels line the walls. They contain salted meat, dried peas, oats, and flour. Fresh food arrives from nearby farms. Vegetables fill baskets. Onions. Turnips. Cabbages. Carrots. Everything must be carefully stored. Nothing can be wasted. Food is valuable. Especially during winter. You help prepare vegetables. A wooden knife board sits before you. You chop steadily. The repetitive rhythm becomes strangely calming. Outside, the castle bustles with activity. But inside the kitchen, there is only work. Work and warmth. The heat from the fires fills every corner. Sweat forms on your forehead despite the cold weather outside. A cook stirs a massive pot of stew. Another checks bread baking inside a stone oven. The aroma fills the room. Fresh bread remains one of life's greatest comforts. Even the poorest servant appreciates warm bread. As the morning continues, messengers arrive with requests. Additional meals. Special dishes. Unexpected guests. The kitchen must adapt constantly. There are no printed recipes. No modern measurements. Everything depends on experience. Knowledge passed from one cook to another. You admire that skill. A good medieval cook is part artist and part magician. By noon, preparations for the main meal are nearly complete. Long tables await food. The castle grows hungry. Soon servants will carry trays throughout the fortress. And everyone, from powerful nobles to lowly workers, will gather to eat. The kitchen has completed another small miracle. One that will repeat again tomorrow. And the day after that. And the day after that. As the sun climbs higher above the castle walls, attention shifts from the kitchen to the heart of the castle. The Great Hall. This vast chamber is the most important room in the fortress. It is where meals are served, where guests are welcomed, where celebrations take place, where judgments are announced. And today, like every day, it must be prepared perfectly. You leave the warmth of the kitchen carrying a stack of wooden trenchers. The great hall is already busy. Sunlight streams through narrow windows high in the walls. Dust drifts lazily through golden beams of light. Above, enormous oak beams support the roof. Colorful banners hang from the rafters. Each banner displays symbols of noble families connected to your lord. The room feels impressive even after years of seeing it. Visitors often stare in amazement. For many peasants, this is the largest building they will ever enter. You and several other servants begin arranging tables. Long wooden boards are placed across trestles. Benches are aligned. Pitchers are filled with ale. Every detail matters. A noble might overlook a missing spoon, but a careless mistake can bring unwanted attention. And attention from superiors is rarely pleasant. The Lord's table sits on a raised platform at the far end of the hall. This is called the dais. From there, the Lord can see everyone. And everyone can see him. The placement reminds guests of their place in society. Those closest to the dais enjoy the highest status. Those farther away rank lower. Servants like you rarely sit here at all. You work among the shadows. A fellow servant begins replacing candles. Although daylight fills the room now, evening comes quickly in winter. Candles are expensive. Every inch of wax matters. Nothing is wasted. The steward enters. He oversees much of the castle's daily operation. His eyes scan the room carefully. You immediately straighten your posture. The steward notices everything. A crooked bench. A dirty cup. A late servant. His approval is rare. His criticism is not. Fortunately, today's preparations satisfy him. He nods and moves on. A small victory. Soon the first trays arrive from the kitchen. The smell of roasted meat spreads through the hall. Heads turn. Conversations pause. Even after centuries, few scents attract attention faster than fresh food. Servants move quickly between tables. You carry a heavy platter loaded with bread. The weight strains your arms. But dropping food is unthinkable. Food represents wealth. Food represents effort. Food represents survival. The meal begins. Knights talk loudly. Merchants discuss trade. Messengers share news from distant towns. The Lord listens carefully. Every conversation might contain useful information. In a medieval world, information can be as valuable as gold. You continue serving quietly. Refilling cups. Removing empty dishes. Delivering fresh bread. Most guests barely notice you. And in many ways, that is the goal. A successful servant is nearly invisible. The hall remains lively for hours. Laughter occasionally erupts. A traveling musician plays softly in the corner. The atmosphere feels warm despite the stone walls. For a brief moment, the castle seems peaceful. Yet you know there is still much work ahead. When the meal ends, the cleanup begins. And cleanup often takes longer than the feast itself. As guests leave the great hall, servants immediately move into action. The room that looked magnificent only hours earlier now resembles a battlefield. Crumbs cover tables. Bones litter wooden platters. Ale has spilled across benches. Wax drips from candles. The work begins. You gather trenchers one by one. Many are made from thick slices of stale bread. These bread trenchers often absorb sauces and juices during meals. Later they may be fed to animals or given to the poor. Nothing is wasted. Medieval life leaves little room for wastefulness. Several servants carry large baskets through the hall. Others collect cups. A few sweep the floor using simple straw brooms. Dust rises into the air. Sunlight catches every particle. The smell of food lingers. Roasted meat. Fresh bread. Herbs. Wood smoke. All mixed together into the familiar scent of castle life. You wipe tables using rough cloths. The wood bears scars from countless meals. Knife marks. Burned stains. Water rings. Each mark tells a story. Generations of guests have sat here. Generations of servants have cleaned these same tables. Some days the work feels endless. Today is one of those days. A feast for visiting merchants has created extra mess. More dishes. More spills. More complaints. A servant nearby accidentally drops a wooden cup. The sharp sound echoes through the hall. Everyone pauses briefly. Then work resumes. Mistakes happen. Fortunately, this one causes little damage. The castle's stone walls have witnessed far worse. As afternoon sunlight begins shifting across the room, progress becomes visible. The floor looks cleaner. Tables shine. Benches return to their proper places. Order slowly replaces chaos. The steward returns for inspection. Again his eyes search every corner. You hold your breath. A single overlooked detail could mean additional work. Or worse. But today the hall passes inspection. The steward nods once. Then leaves. Relief spreads among the servants. Small successes matter. Especially in a life where praise is uncommon. With the hall restored, attention turns elsewhere. The castle never truly sleeps. There is always another room to clean. Another task to complete. Another responsibility waiting. Outside, clouds gather above the distant hills. A cool wind blows across the courtyard. The afternoon continues. And so does your work. Few visitors think about laundry when they imagine a medieval castle. They picture knights, battles, feasts, grand halls. Yet mountains of laundry exist behind every noble household. And someone must wash it. Today, that someone is you. The laundry area sits near a water source within the castle grounds. Large wooden tubs stand ready. Buckets line the walls. Piles of clothing await attention. Tunics, aprons, tablecloths, bed sheets, socks. More fabric than seems possible. The work begins with water. Always water. You carry heavy buckets from the well. Again and again. Your shoulders ache. Your hands grow cold. But the tubs must be filled. There is no shortcut. No machine. Only human effort. Soon fires are lit beneath large cauldrons. Water gradually warms. Steam rises into the cool air. The scent of soap fills the space. Medieval soap is simple. Often made from animal fat and ash. It lacks modern fragrances. But it works. Most of the time. You kneel beside a tub and begin scrubbing cloth. The process is repetitive. Washington. Rinse. Twist. Repeat. Hour after hour. The fabric feels rough beneath your hands. Some stains refuse to disappear. Others fade slowly. The work demands patience. Around you, other servants labor quietly. The rhythm of washing creates a strange sense of calm. Splashing water. Crackling fire. Soft conversation. Bird song from the courtyard. Together they form the soundtrack of an ordinary afternoon. The Lord's household expects clean clothing. Guests expect fresh linens. Beds require clean sheets. Tables require clean cloths. Without servants, castle life would quickly become uncomfortable. Perhaps even unbearable. As the sun begins lowering toward the horizon, rows of laundry hang drying in the breeze. White cloth flutters against gray stone walls. The sight feels almost peaceful. For a moment, you stop working and simply look. The castle stands proud beneath the evening sky. Smoke rises from chimneys. Guards patrol the walls. Children's laughter drifts from somewhere inside. Life continues. And though your role is small, it matters. Because every clean cloth, every prepared meal, every swept floor, helps keep this enormous machine functioning. The castle may belong to the Lord, but it survives because of people like you. As evening approaches, the nobles of the castle enjoy the most comfortable rooms. Large fireplaces warm their chambers. Soft blankets cover their beds. Servants bring candles, food, and fresh water whenever needed. But that is not where you live. Your world exists below the stairs, below the grand halls, below the elegant chambers, far from the Lord's luxurious apartments. The servant quarters occupy a less impressive section of the castle. The ceilings are lower. The rooms are smaller. The walls are colder. Yet for hundreds of workers, these simple spaces are home. After completing the laundry duties, you descend a narrow staircase. The sounds of the castle gradually change. The laughter of noble guests fades. The music from the great hall becomes distant. Soon only the familiar noises of servants remain. Boots scraping stone floors. Quiet conversations. Occasional laughter. Someone humming while repairing clothing. A young servant rushes past carrying firewood. Even now, work continues. The castle never truly rests. You enter the servant hall. Several workers sit around rough wooden tables. A stable boy tells a story about a horse that escaped earlier in the day. A kitchen maid laughs so hard she nearly spills her drink. For a few precious moments, everyone seems relaxed. These moments matter. Life in a castle is demanding. Long hours. Hard labor. Little privacy. Yet friendships grow surprisingly strong. Shared struggles create strong bonds. The baker knows the blacksmith. The laundress knows the cook. The stable boys know everyone. Information travels quickly among servants. Sometimes faster than among nobles. You sit beside a friend named William. He has worked at the castle nearly 10 years. An eternity by servant standards. His hands are rough from countless days of labor. His beard contains strands of gray despite his relatively young age. He speaks quietly about rumors. A merchant caravan may arrive next week. The Lord may host another feast. Perhaps important visitors are expected. No one knows for certain. But speculation passes the time. Outside, darkness settles across the countryside. The castle gates close for the night. Torches flicker along the walls. Guards begin their evening patrols. Inside the servant quarters, supper is served. The meal is simple. A thick stew. Fresh bread. A small amount of cheese. Nothing luxurious. Yet after a long day of work, it tastes wonderful. Hunger improves nearly every meal. You eat slowly. The warmth of the stew spreads through your body. Around you, conversations continue. Stories are exchanged. Jokes are shared. Complaints are voiced. This hidden world below the stairs remains invisible to most nobles. Yet it is full of life. Full of personalities. Full of people whose labor keeps the castle running. Without them, the grand halls above would quickly fall silent. The Lord may command the castle, but servants sustain it. As the evening progresses, some workers begin preparing for tomorrow. Clothes are mended. Shoes are repaired. Tools are inspected. There is always another task waiting. Always another responsibility. Yet for now, there is also peace. A rare and welcome peace. The following morning begins before sunrise once again. The castle awakens slowly. The sky outside remains dark. Mist hangs over the surrounding fields. The air feels damp and cool. Today your duties take you to one of the most important areas in the castle. The Lord's private chambers. Few people are permitted here. Only trusted servants. The Lord's rooms occupy a comfortable section of the castle overlooking the countryside. Narrow windows provide beautiful views. Colorful tapestries decorate the walls. A large fireplace dominates the main chamber. Compared to the servant quarters, the difference feels extraordinary. Luxury exists here. Not modern luxury, but medieval luxury. Fine fabrics. Handcrafted furniture. Imported goods. Objects that demonstrate wealth and status. You enter quietly. Respectfully. The Lord and his family are elsewhere. That makes your work easier. The bed must be prepared. Blankets straightened. Pillows arranged. Fresh rushes placed on portions of the floor. Dust removed from furniture. Every detail matters. A noble household depends upon appearance. Visitors notice everything. You begin with the fireplace. The previous night's ashes must be removed. Fresh wood must be arranged. Soon a new fire crackles to life. Warmth spreads through the room. The smell of burning oak fills the air. Next comes cleaning. You wipe tables carefully. Polish metal objects. Adjust decorative items. Many of these possessions are valuable. Some cost more than a servant could earn in years. Accidental damage could be disastrous. Your movements remain cautious. Measured. Precise. As sunlight enters through the windows, the room grows brighter. Dust particles float through golden beams of light. Outside, birds sing from distant trees. For a brief moment, the chamber feels peaceful. Almost timeless. The walls have witnessed generations of noble families. Celebrations. Arguments. Births. Deaths. Countless moments now forgotten. Yet the room remains. And servants continue maintaining it. Just as they have for decades. Perhaps centuries. A fellow servant arrives carrying fresh linens. Together you replace bedding. The work requires coordination. Heavy blankets are difficult to manage alone. Once finished, the bed looks inviting. Soft. Comfortable. A luxury unavailable to most people in medieval society. Before leaving, you perform one final inspection. Everything appears perfect. The room is ready. Ready for another day. Ready for another night. Ready for the Lord who depends upon unseen workers like you. You quietly close the door behind you. Your task is complete. But many more await. Because in a medieval castle, work is never truly finished. Not every day in the castle is ordinary. Some days are bigger, louder, busier. Today is one of those days. A great feast has been announced. Important guests are arriving from neighboring lands. Knights, merchants, and local nobles will gather beneath the castle roof. For the Lord, the feast is an opportunity to display wealth and power. For the servants, it means one thing: more work. Much more work. You awaken even earlier than usual. The castle is already stirring before dawn. Kitchen fires burn brightly. Cooks move rapidly between work tables. Barrels are opened. Knives are sharpened. Fresh bread dough is prepared. The smell of roasting meat soon fills the air. Entire animals are being cooked. Chickens, pigs, geese. The scale of preparation is astonishing. The feast may last for hours. Hundreds of guests must be fed. Every servant receives additional duties. Mistakes cannot be allowed. The Lord expects perfection. The guests expect luxury. The kitchen becomes a world of organized chaos. Orders are shouted. Wood is carried. Water is fetched. Trays are loaded. Every corner of the room is occupied. You help transport supplies from storage rooms. Sacks of flour. Bundles of herbs. Barrels of ale. The work is exhausting, yet strangely exciting. Feast days break the normal routine. There is energy in the air. A feeling that something important is happening. By afternoon, guests begin arriving. The castle courtyard fills with activity. Colorful banners flutter above stone walls. Horses clatter across cobblestones. Servants rush to greet visitors. The great hall is transformed. Long tables stretch across the room. Candles stand ready. Decorations brighten the walls. Fresh rushes cover portions of the floor. The hall looks magnificent. Perhaps more magnificent than ever. As evening approaches, the feast begins. Musicians play lively melodies. Guests laugh and converse. The sound echoes throughout the castle. You move constantly. Delivering food. Collecting empty dishes. Refilling cups. The work never stops. Yet despite the effort, there are moments worth remembering. A famous knight tells stories from distant lands. A traveling merchant describes cities beyond the sea. Musicians perform songs that seem to transport listeners to another world. For a servant, these glimpses are valuable. Most people never travel far from home. Yet through stories, the world feels larger. more mysterious, more exciting. Hours pass. The feast continues deep into the night. Candles burn lower. Guests grow louder. Laughter becomes more frequent. The hall glows with warmth and life. Finally, near midnight, the celebration begins to end. Guests depart. Musicians pack their instruments. The Lord retires to his chambers. And once again, the servants remain behind. Because while feasts end for nobles, they continue for workers. Now comes the cleanup. Several weeks later, winter arrives. The transformation is dramatic. The countryside turns gray and silent. Trees stand bare against the sky. Cold winds sweep across the hills. Frost covers the castle every morning. Life becomes harder. The stone walls that provide protection also trap the cold. Even the largest fireplaces struggle to warm every room. For servants, winter means discomfort. The day begins in darkness. The sun rises late. The air inside the servant quarters feels icy. You pull your wool blanket aside reluctantly. The warmth disappears immediately. Nearby servants do the same. No one enjoys leaving bed on winter mornings. Yet everyone must. The castle still requires food, cleaning, repairs. Work does not pause for weather. Outside, the courtyard sparkles with frost. Your breath forms white clouds. The well water feels painfully cold against your hands. Winter changes daily routines. Extra firewood is needed. More time is spent maintaining fires. Wood becomes one of the castle's most valuable resources. Without it, warmth disappears. Cooking becomes difficult. Life becomes dangerous. Large wagons regularly bring wood from nearby forests. Servants stack it carefully. Every log matters. Inside the kitchens, enormous fires provide welcome relief. Workers often linger nearby whenever possible. The heat feels wonderful after time spent outdoors. Meals also change during winter. Fresh vegetables become less common. Stored foods dominate the menu. Salted meat, dried peas, oats, root vegetables. The castle relies heavily on supplies gathered throughout the year. Planning ahead is essential. A poor harvest can lead to hardship. A harsh winter can strain resources. Fortunately, this year appears manageable. The stores remain reasonably full. As evening arrives, snow begins falling. At first only a few flakes drift through the air. Then more follow. Soon the castle is surrounded by white. Torches glow softly against the snow-covered walls. The sight is beautiful, quiet, almost magical. You pause briefly to admire it. Moments like these are rare. Life as a servant often moves too quickly for reflection. Yet tonight feels different. The snowfall softens every sound. The world seems calmer, gentler. For a few moments, even the castle feels peaceful. Winter continues. Days pass. Snow comes and goes. Then one afternoon, excitement spreads throughout the castle. A messenger has arrived. His horse is exhausted. Its sides rise and fall rapidly. Frost clings to its coat. The rider appears equally tired. News travels slowly in the medieval world. A single messenger may carry information that changes lives. The castle gate opens quickly. Guards escort the rider inside. People begin whispering immediately. Servants speculate. Knights exchange glances. What news has arrived? A war? A marriage? A royal announcement? No one knows. And everyone is curious. You happen to be carrying supplies through the courtyard when the messenger arrives. For a brief moment, you see him dismount. His boots strike the frozen ground. A sealed document remains tucked beneath his cloak. Within minutes he disappears into the Lord's chambers. The mystery grows. Throughout the afternoon, rumors spread rapidly. One servant claims a neighboring lord is preparing for conflict. Another insists a royal official will soon visit. A cook believes new taxes are being announced. No one agrees. Yet everyone talks. This is one of the few forms of entertainment available. Speculation fills the gaps where certainty cannot. Hours later, fragments of truth begin emerging. The news concerns trade routes and political agreements. Important for the Lord. Less important for servants. Still, the arrival has broken the routine. For one day, life feels slightly more exciting. Slightly less predictable. By evening, the castle settles once again. The messenger rests. The horses are cared for. The Lord discusses important matters with trusted advisors. And ordinary life resumes. Because regardless of great events beyond the walls, servants still have responsibilities. Meals must be prepared. Rooms must be cleaned. Fires must be maintained. The world may change, but work remains. The castle is a different place after dark. The crowds disappear. The noise fades. The endless activity finally slows. Not stops, but slows. Tonight, after a long day, you find yourself walking through nearly empty corridors. A single candle illuminates your path. Its small flame flickers gently. The stone walls seem older at night. More mysterious. Shadows stretch across floors. Ancient tapestries move slightly in cold drafts. Some servants tell stories about ghosts. About former lords wandering the halls. About mysterious sounds in forgotten towers. You have never seen anything unusual. Yet walking alone after midnight does make the imagination more active. Outside, The moon hangs above the castle. Silver light washes across towers and walls. The courtyard lies quiet beneath the stars. Only guards remain fully awake. Their footsteps echo along the battlements. Everything else rests. For the first time all day, there is little urgency. No orders. No rushing. No heavy loads. Only silence. You stop beside a narrow window. Beyond the walls, the countryside stretches into darkness. Villages sleep peacefully. Forests stand motionless. The entire world feels still. Tomorrow will bring another busy day. More responsibilities. More routines. More work. But not yet. For now, there is only the calm of the night. And the comfort of knowing that, despite all the challenges of castle life, another day has been completed. Another day in the great medieval castle. Another day in the life of a servant whose work keeps everything running. As your candle burns lower and the castle settles into sleep, you finally return to your simple bed. The straw mattress waits. The blankets feel warm. Your eyes grow heavy. Outside, the winter wind whispers against ancient stone walls. And beneath the watchful towers of the castle, you drift peacefully into sleep. The next morning begins with the familiar ringing of the castle bell. Long before sunrise, one place is already busy. The bakery. Bread is the foundation of medieval life. Rich or poor, nearly everyone eats it every day. Without bread, a castle cannot function. You arrive while darkness still covers the countryside. Inside, the bakery is warm and bright. Massive ovens dominate the room. The heat radiates through thick stone walls. Compared to the cold outdoors, it feels wonderful. The baker is already at work. His hands move confidently through mountains of flour. Years of experience guide every movement. No scales. No measuring cups. Only knowledge passed from generation to generation. You help carry sacks of grain. Each sack is heavy. The work quickly warms your muscles. Soon the smell of fresh dough fills the room. Water is added. Salt is mixed. The dough is kneaded. Again and again. The repetitive rhythm feels almost peaceful. Outside, dawn slowly approaches. Inside, rows of loaves begin taking shape. Some are destined for nobles. Others for guards. Others for servants. Everyone depends upon the bakery. The first loaves enter the great ovens. The baker watches carefully. Too much heat ruins bread. Too little heat leaves it undercooked. Timing is everything. As the morning progresses, golden loaves emerge. The aroma spreads throughout the castle. It drifts through corridors, across courtyards, into kitchens. Fresh bread signals the beginning of another day. You smile slightly. There are few smells more comforting. For a brief moment, the hard work feels worthwhile. The bakery has once again performed its daily miracle, transforming simple grain into food that will sustain hundreds of people. And tomorrow, it will happen all over again. Not far from the stable stands one of the loudest places in the castle, the blacksmith's forge. Even before you see it, you hear it. Clang, clang, clang. Metal striking metal. The sound echoes across the courtyard. The forge glows with heat. Orange sparks dance through the air. The blacksmith works beside a roaring fire. Sweat covers his face despite the cold weather. His arms are powerful. Years of labor have shaped them. Few people work harder than a medieval blacksmith. Every tool in the castle depends upon his skill. Knives, nails, locks, horseshoes, weapons, armor. Without the forge, daily life would slowly fall apart. You help pump the bellows. Each push feeds fresh air into the fire. The flames grow brighter, hotter. The metal turns red, then orange, then nearly white. The blacksmith removes a glowing piece of iron. His hammer falls. Again. 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 Each strike shapes the metal, slowly transforming it into something useful. Watching him feels almost magical. A simple piece of iron becomes a tool, a weapon, a vital part of castle life. The forge remains busy all day. Repairs never end. There is always another broken tool, another damaged hinge, another horseshoe needing replacement. The castle relies upon skilled craftsmen, and the blacksmith stands among the most important. As evening approaches, the forge gradually cools. The hammering slows. The sparks fade. Another day of creation is complete. Yet tomorrow the fire will burn again, just as it always has. Today feels different. Excitement fills the air. It is market day. Merchants from nearby villages arrive carrying goods from across the region. The courtyard becomes crowded. Carts roll through the gates. Horses pull wagons loaded with supplies. Traders call out greetings. Children run excitedly between stalls. For servants, market day offers a rare opportunity. A glimpse of the outside world. The castle can sometimes feel isolated. Its walls create protection, but they also create separation. Market day brings fresh stories, fresh faces, fresh news. You help unload supplies, barrels of ale, bundles of cloth, baskets of vegetables, sacks of grain. The merchants have traveled many miles. Some crossed forests. Others crossed rivers. A few came from distant towns you have never seen. Their stories are fascinating. One trader describes a great city far to the south. Another speaks of ships arriving from foreign lands. Exotic spices. Strange customs. Unknown languages. The world suddenly feels much larger than the castle walls. The market remains lively throughout the day. Laughter fills the air. Bargaining continues endlessly. Coins change hands. Goods change owners. Information spreads quickly. By evening, the merchants begin packing their wagons. The courtyard slowly empties. The excitement fades. Normal life returns. Yet for a brief time, the castle felt connected to the wider world. And that feeling lingers long after the market ends. Among all the buildings inside the castle, few feel as peaceful as the chapel. The moment you enter, the noise of daily life seems to disappear. The chapel is small compared to the great hall. Yet it possesses a quiet power. Colored sunlight filters through stained glass windows. Soft candles flicker gently. The air smells faintly of wax and incense. For many people, this is their favorite place in the castle. Not because it is luxurious, but because it is calm. Servants visit whenever time allows. Knights pray before journeys. Nobles seek guidance. Even children occasionally sit quietly beneath the painted windows. Today, your task is simple. Cleaning the chapel. Dusting wooden benches. Replacing candles. Sweeping the floor. The work feels different here. Slower. More peaceful. As you move through the room, silence surrounds you. Only the sound of your broom breaks the stillness. Outside, the castle continues its busy routines. Inside, time seems to move more gently. The chapel reminds everyone that life contains more than work. More than duty. More than responsibility. For a few moments, you simply sit quietly, watching sunlight dance across the stone floor, enjoying the rare stillness. Then the bell rings. Work calls once again, and you return to the busy world beyond the chapel doors. Late one afternoon, dark clouds gather on the horizon. The wind grows stronger. Birds disappear into shelter. Everyone senses change approaching. A storm is coming. By evening, the first thunder echoes across the countryside. The sound rolls through the hills. Lightning flashes beyond the castle walls. Rain soon follows. Heavy rain. The storm transforms the world. Water crashes against rooftops. Wind rattles shutters. Torches struggle to remain lit. Inside the castle, servants rush to secure doors and windows. Extra wood is brought indoors. Animals are checked. Supplies are protected. Storms can be dangerous, especially powerful ones. You help secure part of the great hall. The wind howls outside. For a moment, the ancient castle feels alive. Its walls creak softly. Its towers disappear behind curtains of rain. Yet the fortress remains strong. It has survived countless storms. This one will pass as well. Hours later, the thunder gradually fades. The rain weakens. The wind calms. Peace slowly returns. By morning, sunlight breaks through scattered clouds. The storm has gone. The castle stands exactly where it stood before. Patient. Enduring. Unmoved by another night of fury. Weeks pass. Then months. Winter slowly loosens its grip. The first signs are subtle. Birdsong returns. Snow melts from shaded corners. The air feels slightly warmer. The countryside begins waking from its long sleep. The castle changes too. Servants smile more often. Doors remain open longer. Outdoor work becomes easier. Fresh supplies arrive once again. The mood improves. Spring always brings hope. The harshest days are behind you. Fields beyond the walls begin turning green. Farmers prepare for planting. Travel becomes easier. Merchants return. Life expands outward once more. Standing atop the castle wall one morning, you look across the landscape. The view is beautiful. Rolling fields. Small villages. Distant forests. Everything bathed in soft spring sunlight. You realize another season has passed. Another chapter of life inside the castle. And countless more await. For the castle endures. The Lord endures. The servants endure. And somewhere beneath the towering stone walls, another ordinary day quietly begins. Spring has fully arrived. The forests surrounding the castle are green once again. Birds sing from the treetops. Wildflowers cover the fields. Today is not an ordinary workday. The Lord has announced a grand hunt. For nobles, hunting is more than finding food. It is sport. Training. A display of skill and status. For servants, however, it means another long day of preparation. Before sunrise, the castle courtyard fills with activity. Horses are saddled. Hunting dogs bark excitedly. Weapons are inspected. Supplies are loaded. You help carry provisions onto a wagon. Fresh bread. Water skins. Extra blankets. The hunt may last until evening. Nothing can be forgotten. The Lord emerges dressed in fine hunting clothes. Several knights accompany him. The dogs strain against their leashes. Everyone seems eager to begin. Soon the gates open. The hunting party rides into the forest. You follow with other servants. The journey is peaceful. Sunlight filters through leaves. Morning mist lingers among the trees. The sounds of the castle fade behind you. Deep in the forest, the hunt begins. The dogs race ahead. Hunters spread out. The excitement is contagious. Hours pass. Occasionally a horn sounds in the distance. Servants carry equipment. Fetch water. Assist wherever needed. The work is constant but different from castle routines. The fresh air feels refreshing. The forest feels alive. Eventually, the hunters succeed. Game is captured. The Lord appears pleased. The journey back begins. As the sun lowers, the castle comes into view once more. Its towers rise above the landscape. Home. The hunting party returns triumphantly. Tonight there will be stories, boasting, celebration, and for servants, plenty of additional work. Every castle contains places few people wish to visit. One such place lies beneath the fortress. The dungeon. You rarely go there. Most servants avoid it whenever possible. The dungeon occupies a dark section beneath the castle. Stone staircases descend into shadow. The air grows colder with each step. Dampness fills the corridors. Torchlight flickers against ancient walls. The atmosphere feels heavy, uncomfortable. Today you have been sent to deliver supplies. Nothing unusual. Just food and water. Yet the journey still makes you uneasy. The deeper levels remain quiet. Almost too quiet. The thick walls absorb sound. Every footstep echoes. Every movement seems louder. The dungeon houses only a few prisoners. Most are awaiting judgment. Others have offended the Lord in some way. Their stories vary, but their surroundings remain the same. Cold stone. Limited light. Endless waiting. You complete your task quickly. A guard accepts the supplies. You exchange a few words. Then begin the climb back upstairs. Relief comes with every step. The air feels fresher. The light brighter. The sounds of normal life gradually return. By the time you reach the courtyard, the dungeon already feels distant. Like a strange dream beneath the castle. A hidden world few people ever see. And one you are happy to leave behind. Several weeks later, unexpected visitors arrive. Traveling minstrels. News spreads quickly through the castle. Entertainment is rare. New faces are always welcome. The performers enter carrying instruments. Lutes. Flutes. Drums. Their clothing is colorful. Their smiles confident. They have traveled far. Perhaps farther than anyone currently living in the castle. That alone makes them fascinating. The Lord invites them to perform in the great hall. Preparations begin immediately. Tables are arranged. Candles are lit. Benches fill with eager listeners. Even servants hope to catch part of the performance. As evening arrives, the hall comes alive. The musicians begin playing. The sound is beautiful. Gentle melodies fill the room. Stories follow. Tales of distant kingdoms. Brave knights. Lost treasures. Great adventures. Some stories are undoubtedly exaggerated. Perhaps completely invented. No one seems to mind. For a few hours, listeners are transported elsewhere. Far beyond the castle walls. Far beyond daily responsibilities. You pause during your duties to listen. The music drifts through the hall. Warm. Comforting. Memorable. The performance continues late into the evening. When it finally ends, applause fills the room. The travelers have earned both payment and admiration. Tomorrow they will continue their journey. But tonight, they have brought a touch of magic to castle life. One morning, tension spreads across the castle. A rider arrives carrying urgent news. Suspicious armed men have been spotted nearby. No one knows exactly who they are. Bandits, mercenaries, enemy soldiers. The uncertainty creates concern. The castle immediately changes. Guards double their patrols. Archers inspect their bows. The gates remain closed more often. Lookouts watch the horizon carefully. Even servants feel the difference. Everyone becomes more alert. The Lord meets with his advisors. Plans are discussed. Supplies are checked. Food stores are counted. If danger approaches, preparation is essential. You help move barrels into secure storage. Others transport extra firewood. The atmosphere grows serious. For the first time in months, the possibility of conflict feels real. Yet days pass. Then more days. No attack comes. Eventually the truth becomes clear. The armed men were merely a group of travelers moving through the region. The threat never existed. Relief spreads throughout the castle. People laugh about the misunderstanding. Normal routines return. But the experience serves as a reminder. Life in the medieval world can change quickly. Peace is valuable precisely because it is never guaranteed. At last, summer arrives. The countryside bursts with life. Fields glow green beneath bright skies. The weather feels warm. The days feel longer. And with summer comes celebration. The Lord announces a festival. The entire castle prepares. Banners decorate the walls. Musicians arrive. Merchants set up stalls. Games are organized. The mood becomes joyful. Unlike formal feasts, this event feels more relaxed. Even servants find moments to enjoy themselves. The courtyard fills with laughter. Children chase one another. Jugglers entertain crowds. Musicians perform lively songs. The scent of roasting meat drifts through the air. You help organize supplies during the morning. But by afternoon, the workload eases. For once, there is time to observe. to enjoy, to simply exist without rushing. The festival continues into the evening. Torches illuminate the courtyard. Music echoes beneath the stars. People dance. Stories are shared. Friendships grow stronger. Moments like these are rare. And because they are rare, they feel precious. For one night, worries seem distant. The castle becomes a place of happiness. A place of celebration. A place of community. Years pass. More quickly than expected. Seasons come and go. Winters. Springs. Summers. Autumns. The castle remains. But people change. You notice it gradually. New servants arrive. Old faces disappear. Children become adults. Adults grow old. The passage of time touches everyone, including you. Your hair contains a few strands of gray. Your hands are rougher than before. The work feels heavier than it once did. Not impossible. Just different. Yet experience brings advantages. You know every corridor. Every staircase. Every hidden corner of the castle. You remember events others have forgotten. Great feasts. Harsh winters. Storms. Celebrations. Visitors from distant lands. Years of memories fill your mind. One evening, you sit quietly in the courtyard. The sun sets behind the walls. Golden light covers the towers. Everything feels calm. Peaceful. You realize something important. Most people will never remember your name. History books will never mention you. Songs will never celebrate you. Yet your life mattered. Every meal served. Every floor cleaned. Every fire maintained. Every task completed. Together, those small actions help sustain the castle. Help sustain the people within it. History often remembers kings and knights. But castles survived because of ordinary people. People like you. And as the evening sky darkens, you feel a quiet sense of pride. Not for fame. Not for wealth. But for a life of honest work beneath ancient stone walls. A life lived in service. A life woven into the story of the castle itself. Summer slowly fades into autumn. The days grow shorter. The air becomes cooler. Across the countryside, farmers begin the most important work of the year. The harvest. For the castle, harvest season means survival. A good harvest brings security. A poor harvest brings worry. Everyone understands its importance. Even those who never touch a plow. From the castle walls, you can see the surrounding fields. Golden grain stretches across the landscape like a sea of sunlight. Farmers move steadily through the crops. Scythes flash beneath the autumn sky. Wagons travel back and forth carrying precious loads of grain. The entire region seems focused on a single task: gathering food before winter arrives. Inside the castle, preparations are equally busy. Storehouses are cleaned. Barrels are inspected. Storage rooms are organized. Every sack of grain must be protected from moisture and pests. You spend much of the day helping unload wagons. The grain is heavy. Dust fills the air. Your arms ache. Yet nobody complains. Everyone knows the value of this work. These supplies will feed the castle for months. As evening falls, the harvest wagons continue arriving. The courtyard remains active long after sunset. Torchlight flickers across stacks of grain. The castle is preparing for the future. And for once, the future looks promising. The harvest has been good. Very good. Winter should be easier this year. The thought brings comfort to everyone. Not long after the harvest, extraordinary news arrives. A royal official, and possibly even a member of the royal family, will visit the castle. Excitement spreads immediately. The entire household springs into action. The castle must look perfect. Every room is cleaned. Every table polished. Every banner inspected. No detail is considered too small. You have never seen the steward so nervous. He walks constantly through the castle, inspecting, correcting, inspecting again. The pressure affects everyone. Servants work longer hours. Cooks prepare special recipes. The blacksmith repairs anything that appears worn. Even the horses receive extra attention. The great day finally arrives. Trumpets sound from the gatehouse. The visitors appear on the road. A procession of riders approaches. Colorful banners wave in the breeze. Their arrival transforms the castle. The great hall shines with candlelight. Musicians perform. The finest food is served. For the nobles, the visit is a political event. For servants, it is a challenge. Every task must be completed perfectly. You move through the hall carrying trays. The guests seem impressed. The Lord seems pleased. Most importantly, nothing goes wrong. The visit is a success. When the royal party finally departs several days later, relief spreads throughout the castle. The excitement was memorable. But everyone is happy to return to normal life. After years inside the castle, you have learned something important. Every castle contains secrets. Not dark secrets necessarily. Just hidden places. Forgotten stories. Quiet mysteries. One rainy afternoon, your duties lead you into an old section of the fortress. A staircase you rarely use. A corridor few people visit. The walls here seem older. The stone darker. The air cooler. You discover a small room tucked behind a thick wooden door. Inside, dust covers everything. Ancient furniture sits abandoned. Broken chests rest against the walls. A faded tapestry hangs crookedly. It feels like stepping into the past. For a moment, you imagine the people who once used this room. Who were they? What conversations took place here? What hopes did they carry? What fears? History often leaves questions unanswered. The room remains silent. Its stories forgotten. Yet the discovery fascinates you. The castle is far older than any person living inside it. Generations have come and gone. The walls remember more than anyone else. You quietly close the door and continue your work. But the memory stays with you. A reminder that the castle still holds mysteries. Perhaps it always will. Years pass. Then comes a winter unlike any other. The cold arrives early. Snow falls heavily. Week after week. Month after month. The countryside disappears beneath white blankets. Travel becomes difficult. Sometimes impossible. The castle feels isolated. Cut off from the wider world. Supplies remain sufficient thanks to previous harvests. Yet the season tests everyone's patience. Days feel shorter. Darkness arrives early. The wind never seems to stop. Fires burn constantly. Wood disappears quickly. Every servant works harder than usual. You spend countless hours carrying fuel, maintaining fireplaces, helping keep the castle warm. The cold reaches everywhere. Even thick stone walls offer limited protection. Yet people endure. As they always have. The castle becomes a community bound together by necessity. Everyone contributes. Everyone helps. Winter eventually begins to weaken. Slowly. Almost reluctantly. The snow starts melting. The days grow brighter. The first signs of spring appear. Relief spreads throughout the household. The longest winter is finally ending. And once again, life moves forward. One evening, years after you first arrived at the castle, a grand feast is announced. At first it seems ordinary. Another celebration. Another gathering. Yet something feels different. Perhaps it is your perspective. Perhaps it is the realization that time has passed. The great hall looks beautiful. Candles glow warmly. Music fills the air. Guests laugh. Servants hurry between tables. Everything feels familiar. You have witnessed countless feasts. Yet tonight you notice details more carefully. The banners. The stone walls. The carved beams overhead. The sounds of conversation. The scent of fresh bread. The crackling fire. All the ordinary things that have become part of your life. You pause briefly beside the hall entrance. Watching. Listening. Remembering. Memories flood your mind. Your first day in the castle. the kitchen fires, the winter storms, the festivals, the hunts, the friendships, the years, so many years. The feast continues late into the night. Eventually the music softens. Guests depart. Candles burn low. The great hall grows quiet once more. And you realize you are no longer the young servant who arrived long ago. Time has changed you, just as it changes everyone. The morning arrives gently. Sunlight touches the castle towers. Birds sing from nearby trees. The world feels peaceful. You stand in the courtyard, looking around, perhaps for the last time. The castle has been your home for most of your life. Its walls sheltered you. Its routines shaped you. Its people became your family. Every corner holds memories. The kitchens where mornings began. The great hall where feasts filled the air with laughter. The chapel where silence offered comfort. The stables. The workshops. The towers. The walls. All familiar. All beloved. You walk slowly through the castle grounds. No rush. No urgency. Just reflection. The castle seems unchanged. Yet you know that is an illusion. Everything changes. People arrive. People leave. Generations pass. Only the stone endures. As the sun climbs higher, you pause beside the main gate. Beyond it lies the wider world. A world you rarely explored. A world waiting patiently. You turn for one final look. The castle stands proudly against the sky. Strong. Timeless. Beautiful. For decades, you helped keep it alive. Not as a knight. Not as a lord. Not as a hero. But as a servant. One of countless ordinary people whose work made extraordinary places possible. History may never remember your name. Yet your story mattered. Because history is not only made by kings. It is also made by bakers, stable boys, cooks, laundry workers, blacksmiths, and servants. People whose lives quietly supported everything around them. The castle remains behind you. The future lies ahead. And with a calm heart, you step forward. The morning sun warms your face. The road stretches into the distance. And the story of the medieval castle servant comes to a peaceful end.